I'm a K-I-N-G, baby, I'm all you need. In the off-white Rari, baby, we run the streets. I'm a K-I-N-G, Westside royalty. I'm a K-I-N-G, baby, that's all you need. I'm a K-I-N-G, baby, I'm all you need.
All right, welcome back, everybody. I'm your host, Steven Basita. You're on my podcast, Get It, on the social Nostra network. And today I have Megan Marchese on with me today. And going into, of course, this series that I've been focused on with highlighting different women in different industries that are, of course, being successful entrepreneurs, bosses, workers through the different industries that they're in. And Megan has her own unique story, which we're going to get to hear today. Thank you so much for being on with me today, Megan.
Thanks for having me on, Steven. It's so great to be here. I'm very excited.
So let's jump into it. So you are a designer and you design clothes for women's bodies specifically. So it's body positive imagery, regardless of what your body type is.
Yes.
So walk us through that. So what made you want to get started in this? How have you kind of progressed in this journey, and just kind of give us the rundown of from start to where you're at now, and obviously what inspired you to get in here and how you've been successful in here so far.
Perfect. Yeah, no, I love it. So I've always been super into fashion and clothing, and I decided back in high school that it was something that I wanted to do as my career. So I found a good university. I went to Woodbury University, got a bachelor's, started at the very bottom of the totem pole as like an unpaid intern, worked my way up through the industry. Through the years, I've been doing this almost 11 years now. And I kind of like fell into everyday clothing. And then 2 years ago, I found an ad, or my like recruiter approached me and said, "Hey, I think this is the perfect company for you. It has everything you've ever said you wanted." Okay. And it's a brand called Amaryllis. Okay. So it's a small, like, husband-wife owned company, which is awesome because they started this company from nothing. Okay. And brought me on, built it up from the ground up, and we sell everything from extra small to 3X. So everything is size inclusive, and we really focus on like fit and fabric so that every woman of every shape, size, color, height, weight, whatever, can look beautiful and feel functional. And we do everything from like everyday t-shirts to, silk dresses that you can wear out. So it's been a really exciting adventure. And then being able to work with a forward-thinking company that allows us to use like social media and like push those boundaries of bringing ourselves forward even more, and using like influencers who are relevant and reaching out to their, followers and being able to like connect with people on a different level. It's been a really exciting journey.
And what made you want to get into this? I'm assuming it's a bit of a niche, yeah?
A little bit, yeah. More companies are kind of starting to open up to size inclusivity, like all the way through. But a lot of times you either see like your petites, your regular sizes, and your curvy sizes either run as like different lines through the same company, or they don't always sell the same product. Okay. And like I come from a huge Italian family, and so my family comes in all shapes and sizes, and it's nice to be able to like see my cousins, my sisters, and my mom, and everyone wearing the same top, and it like fits everybody different, and they style it their own way. And it's just nice to give girls a place to go where they can like see different models wear the same thing, and then know like they can style it themselves. Because for me, fashion has always been, the beauty of it for me is like we could all buy the exact same t-shirt, and then however we pair it and style it is what's going to make it like unique to our personality. Okay. Which is really cool.
And how have you seen like the positive effects in women's lives? Do you guys get like those testimonies of women that have really been through it and they struggle with their weight, or they struggle with their self-esteem or their imagery, and you guys have come along and helped kind of bolster that a little bit?
I think so. I don't have as much involvement in that as like our marketing team does, but I work really closely with our marketing team and our socials team, as well as customer service. So I'm constantly getting feedback from a design standpoint of customers saying like, hey, this fit a little small, or like, I wish it like covered my, like, I wish my jeans went above my belly button so that I could like fix the designs going forward. And we're constantly thinking of how we can make something, you know, if it's a woven dress that doesn't have stretch, like maybe we can add a panel in the back that has some stretch, or like change the shape so that you can buy it off the internet and you don't have to try it on, and then you like,
Right.
there's a good chance it like fits well. That's
Sure.
the goal. So
Okay. And so when you got into this industry and you started this whole journey that you're on now, you know, I guess like from a one step, obviously I'm a guy, you know, and like most guys, you know, I go shopping for my wife. It's usually she's already like put stuff down that she's already knows, you know, it's hard. So, you know, from the male standpoint, like, are you guys pretty good about helping guys who are trying to shop for their significant others, or, you know, mom or sister, whatever it is, and figuring out what is gonna make them feel comfortable and stuff too? I mean, how does that process kind of work for you guys?
Yeah, we definitely try. So we've set up our website so that when you click into a style, everything is styled from head to toe in our product.
Okay.
So if you see a shirt that you think your wife might like, there's a pair of jeans that are also there. You know, maybe we're selling the same hat, and then once you click into that top, it'll give you like a list of suggestions at the bottom. Like, customers also bought this pair of jeans, or like liked this similar top or this similar dress. So it kind of gives suggestions to kind of like, you know, guide our customer into what other people had said they given feedback that they liked and loved.
Right. And so what do you draw your inspiration from in doing all this stuff? Like, why was this important to you?
I mean,
you're a designer. You can do anything you want, right? Like, you could design, you could go work for any company that you chose, right? Because this is what you do. You've chosen this. So what was the inspiration for you getting into this? What inspires you to be in this industry and to continue to do what you're doing?
I love it. Yeah. That's such a fun question. I mean, I have always pulled inspirations from everywhere. And I think like as street style becomes like a more popular thing, like in upcoming years, you know, runways always had a very specific look growing up. And I grew up as a ballet dancer, which always had a very specific expectation of like body look for it, and pressures that come with that. And, and then to be able to like see street style and like, you know, Instagram and all these channels kind of take a twist, and people like take things and cut them up and change them and make them their own.
Right.
It's such an empowering thing. And, you know, so often, especially with social media and things, we run into like so much negativity and people kind of tearing each other down. So why not give something positive? Like, my goal is always like, how can I contribute something positive to the world? And I'm not curing cancer. I'm not like doing anything over the top, like, you know, amazing miracle work, but at least I feel like I'm trying to do my effort to create body positivity, female confidence, like boost the girls around me up. I'm very fortunate that I come from a female dominated team. So our whole company is, you know, we have a very diverse, multicultural, multifunctional company, men and women all working hand in hand. And my team, like, I don't do this all by myself. I have a core group of 5 girls that have my back, and they're just as amazing. And the goal, like, even when hiring, I was like, I want you to grow with me instead of grow without of me. So my goal is always to continue to boost women around me. I try to circle myself with my female friends that are the same way, like same thought process, so that we're all giving each other like a little boost and encouraging each other to continue to do better than what we already are.
Okay. Well, that's cool. So when, you know, and I know that we do have a pretty big female audience here. So, you know, for the women that are listening to this, how can they kind of follow you? How can they follow the company? You know, like, give us the little rundown of how they have questions, how can they reach out to you, and then the name of the company, the Instagram, that kind of stuff, website, so they can go in ahead and find something that they like.
Perfect. Yeah. So the company is called Amaryllis Apparel. So it's Amaryllis, and it's the same name as the flower.
Okay.
Our Instagram is the same thing. Amaryllis Apparel is the Instagram handle.
Okay.
So if you go to our Instagram, most of our links are swipe ups. We connect to stories from our influencers of their try on hauls and their thoughts.
Okay.
My personal Instagram is really wacky. My maiden name is Megan Smith, so it wasn't really creative back then. So my Instagram handle is Megasaurus Rex, and it's M3 Gasaurus Rex.
Okay.
And if you can reach out to me on that personally, on my personal Instagram, I love to answer questions. I am currently 20 weeks pregnant myself, so I'm starting a whole new journey, which will hopefully translate to a whole new journey at work. Maybe some mommy me stuff, who knows? But
There you go.
but yeah, so I would love to reach out and answer questions, give suggestions, even if it's not like for our product, even if it's just, hey, how do I style this myself? Or what do I do if I don't love my hips, but I really like wearing tight skirts. Like I'm very busty, so I constantly run into problems, and yeah, I'm here to help.
And then let's talk about that. So you're 20 weeks pregnant.
Yes.
So how's the first trimester gone? How's the second trimester going for you?
I've been very lucky. I didn't have any morning sickness or heartburn or anything. I felt very normal first trimester. So I was one of the lucky ones from what I've heard. I finally reached a point where my everyday clothes are no longer fitting. So that's been a new adventure, which is giving me like a whole new passion and motivation to continue like body inclusivity. Because as I'm now shopping for maternity, there's a lot less of it out there.
Sure. Yeah, my wife has the
So
same
it's kind of opened like a whole new like world of perspective for me in addition to everything else. But it's been good, and it's been good to be able to be in the workplace and still be able to be fully functional and have like my peers and my coworkers kind of like see and know that like, pregnancy doesn't change a woman's ability to do her work or her job. And
Well, that's for sure.
that was a big fear of mine. My bosses are super supportive people. I work for a great company, but I am the head of an entire department. So when you think about being gone for 6 weeks or 8 weeks on a leave, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like, what am I going to do? How do I prep everybody? Like, how do I make it so that they don't panic? But it was very well received. So like my bosses took it with open arms. They're so excited. And so it's been like a really good process so far.
So my better half, our first pregnancy that we had with our daughter, she had a little heartburn, but she didn't really get the sickness and stuff. And overall, the first pregnancy was pretty easy overall. Like, there were a couple small speed bumps, but we made that.
Nice.
And then we had a year where we had a few miscarriages, and she's getting older, and we're told that pregnancy might not be something that's possible again. Mm-hmm. And so we actually are pregnant with our second daughter now.
Congratulations.
So the clothes thing is huge because because we're still in some aspect of coronavirus right now. Mm-hmm. So her company has started bringing people back to work, but because of where she's in that difficult spot, but she's also the VP of marketing for the company she works for. And when we had our first daughter, she was in a high position too. So I completely understand.
Yeah.
That whole, all right, you gotta start to transition people to be successful without you for a little while, that whole thing. And, that definitely is a challenge unto its own, but, women need to get pregnant if we want to keep mankind going. So it's kind of like, I don't understand why people want to be supportive of it, like we need people to, roll around.
Because, it's very rare you talk about like pregnancy and it's usually not a negative thing, when you're talking to people like, oh, congratulations, everyone's always positive. But then like when you think about it in the workplace, all of a sudden it gets very kind of like nerve wracking. And it was like something I've talked to my bosses before. They knew like my husband and my plan to like grow a family. Yeah. And it wasn't until like I got pregnant, I had to tell them, and it was this weird like internal thing that became very nerve wracking, really for no reason at all. Like I was so nervous to talk to them, and they were like over the moon excited. Like they didn't even want to know what my plan was. Like they didn't care when I was due. They were just more excited about like the moment itself. So I think, bringing more light to that. And I'm very fortunate that I work for a company that is open to that. I work in a young woman dominated office where we're having a lot of women like coming to that age and getting ready for families. But so it's been a good adventure.
Well, that's good. Well, I wish you the best of luck continuously through this process. And,
Yes,
enjoy the
me
ride.
too. It's gonna be
The
fun.
one thing I will say, from Tara's perspective, when we first had our first daughter,
Hmm.
like so focused on making the child survive, and like everything's new.
Yeah.
And we didn't have any family here, so we were kind of figuring out our own. And I think Tara was so wrapped up. Well, from her words, what she's told people is she was just so wrapped up in like trying to keep the kid survival of the kid, that she didn't get to really enjoy the aspect of being a mom.
Hmm.
It was different for me. I didn't really feel like I had that same, I don't know, mindset, I guess. I really enjoyed it. And I was a really active, hands-on dad for her first couple of years before she really started going to school. Um, but I'll tell you two things, and this is for all females watching and then all guys watching. Um, one of the lessons I had to learn two lessons hard way. But first off, when you're going through like the pregnancy, like your hormones are raging and everything, and it's easy to for you as a woman, because you can't control that, to get really upset over small things. And it's really easy for us, we're guys, right? And we're thinking logically, and we're just like, that doesn't make sense. And I tell my boys, I'm like, listen, it doesn't matter what the woman says. Just do whatever she says, man. If she wants In-N-Out for the next month straight, just buy her In-N-Out. Like, if she thinks it's like, just go along with whatever. It is what it is. She's carrying a child. What I did not know, and this is what really kicked me in the butt, is after you have the kid, you still have like 6 months of your hormones raging.
Oh shoot! I didn't see. I'm not prepared for this part.
and it gets worse. And I didn't know that. Now, this is the dumbest thing. If Paris sees I tell this story, she'd probably be mad at me. However, this one thing tested our marriage. A dead flea. Our daughter was 4 weeks old. About 4 weeks old. And we have two rescue dogs. They're part pit. And I had taken them to the dog park, and they have their flea medication and advantage and all that.
Of course, yeah.
But they like to lay on our bed. Well, one of them obviously laid on our bed, and a flea jumped off, and it was dead. I get a call, so I own it. At the time, I owned a gym. Wife calls me, breaking down. There's a dead flea in our bed. Like, I think she was crying.
Yeah.
I could be wrong about that, but it was like hysterical. She was upset. And I was like, oh, it's okay. It's a dead flea. Nobody, just so you know, nobody's ever died from a flea before, right?
That's
just
not the point.
I'm just trying to de-escalate the situation. Oh my gosh, that did not go over well. Now, the worst part of this is my parents were staying with us at the time to kind of help out a little bit. Mm-hmm. My parents, I'm 38. I've never seen my parents argue. I've never even heard them argue.
Yeah.
Because they always did it quietly and behind closed doors. So me and my sisters never saw it. So, I don't like to argue either, to be honest. So, that sparked rage in my wife. So she had stripped down everything in the house, every pillowcase, every blanket, every sheet, every anything and everything. She's taken all it's in the laundry. So you go home, there's a million things to wash now. The floors have to be vacuumed and washed. My dad and mom are helping out a little bit. I get home and, Tara was really upset. She's like, the dogs aren't allowed in the house. Go give them a bath. No. And of course, I tried to argue this a little bit, right? Because I'm thinking logically, worst decision of my life. That one night. So we got in such a big fight, huge fight. It was bad. My grandparents had come to go out to dinner with us because they'd come down here too. So at dinner with my grandparents, my parents, and it's us. And we had just been fighting, and you can tell dinner's not great right now. It's not comfortable. We get home, we're behind our house yelling at each other. We live in a townhome community next to a townhome community. Yelling at each other. We're arguing. My dad's sitting in the back patio, just not sure what to do. He's just sitting there trying to act like he doesn't exist. Oh my gosh. And then my dad, after the whole thing's over, my dad's like, let me help you. I honestly was so mad. I don't even get mad almost ever. I was so mad I didn't even want to stay in my own house. I was thinking about going to my buddy's house for the night, but my parents were there, so I couldn't leave and then have my parents be there with her. So I was like, all right, I gotta see. So I slept on the couch. I was pissed. She was pissed. We literally didn't talk to each other. After that, we did not talk to each other for almost an entire day.
Wow.
I left the next morning for work and stuff, and we didn't talk the entire day. I didn't talk to her till that night. It's funny now.
Yeah.
But when that happened, oh man, I was questioning who I married. I mean, I know she was probably thinking the same thing. It was so dumb.
Yeah.
But I just tell you that story because I then tell all my friends, like, look, after your wife or has the kid for like 6 months, just go with the flow, man. There's no hill worth dying on in those 6 months. You had a kid, figure it out. You're both gonna be tired, stressed. You got this new life you're trying to figure out how to take care of. Enjoy it the best you can. You know, crazy things happen, but I always tell people just those first 6 months is tough. And I say this now because I have to remind myself, you know, we're gonna have our second
Coming
dog
up again to your next 6 months.
and I'm like, all right, I got to mentally prepare. Remember, 6 months, Steven. So from December to June, you just say yes. Just go with whatever it is. It doesn't matter what it is. Just go with it. Make your life easy. Man,
I love it.
But you know, it really is such a blessing to have a child. And I'm super excited for you guys. Have fun. Try your best to enjoy it. I know it's stressful, but everything's gonna be okay. Remember, we got by with man lived in caves and had sticks and stones, and that was all they had. There were no doctors. There was no one delivering babies.
Yeah,
That was like almost 8 billion people. So we figured it out somehow.
it's very true. I know. So my mom has always been telling me, she's like, just enjoy it, enjoy the ride. Like, it's really hard at this point to mess it up. Like, yes, it's good. You were very careful in the beginning. You're at a point, like, if you want the snack, eat the snack. If you, because my, you know, she's like, the weight will come off later. Don't worry about all the extra stuff. Like, just
It's
enjoy
true, though.
your time.
It comes off if you're gonna be dedicated to getting back into shape.
Yeah.
I've been a strength coach for years. I've helped a lot of pregnant women get into better shape than before they were even pregnant. So
Yeah.
it happens.
Awesome. I know, I just have to keep reminding my husband, your weight doesn't just disappear after. Like, I get to automatically lose a little. Yours, you have to work harder for.
Yeah. We the first pregnancy, Tara liked a lot of in and out. I did have some weight I had to bump off of me when it was all said and done. Yeah, good times. Well,
it's a supportive husband weight. You know, we want the in and out late at night and that extra bag of chips, and we don't want to eat ice cream alone. So,
you know, that was what got me in trouble because at first I told her no. Because I am a basketball coach and I'm a strength coach and I own a fitness. I still, you know, own a fitness company and I own a basketball club. And I'm not trying to get like, I'm active. Like, I ain't trying to put on that much weight, man. But there was a small stint where Tara was like, those laser eyes. So this is the worst part. So I did eventually just cave.
Mm-hmm.
I did put on like probably 20 pounds in my gut area, which I was pissed about. But then we went to Vegas. Right after, like, we went to Vegas, like, I mean, it was it was a few months after we had our kid, but like, we went and I hadn't lost all that weight yet because I was so busy with the part of the season I was in for basketball and stuff. And I own multiple businesses. And you're right. It's not as easy for guys just to lose that anymore. And Tara had a picture of us and then she posted it on like Instagram. And I'm like, what are you doing? You posted me like, this is the first, after I saw that picture, I was so distraught. I cut out because we had gotten into a habit too, right? Of eating like things we shouldn't be eating and, you know, and I'm drinking alcohol again. And I cut it all out. Sweets, alcohol, everything. I was on a just a beast workout with a very structured nutrition plan. I wasn't messing around until I got rid of all of that and got back into shape. Oh, I'm so mad. I couldn't believe she posted that. But it was good because it got my fat butt back in shape and got back my abs.
I know. I caught myself doing that to my husband Colin the other night when I was like, do you want an ice cream cone? And he's like, no, I'm okay. And I was like, okay, fine. And I like refused to eat one. And then he's like, okay, no, let's eat ice cream. Because he knew I wanted it. But I was like, well, I'm not eating ice cream alone. And I was like, okay, you can't do that. That's bad.
Yeah, because the thing is, like, your cravings will go away.
Yeah.
Well, if you've been conditioned for 4 or 5 months as the guy, you've been eating all this crap, you're going to keep it up. Sugar is good and it's addicting, you know.
It's delicious,
And then, you know, if you couple it with alcohol, I'm a big whiskey fan. So when I come home from work, I usually have like a glass of whiskey. I haven't bought whiskey in I don't even know how long.
Yeah.
I'm freaking dry house over here trying to, now that I know what the routine is, my hair keeps complaining. Now that I get pregnant, you're like trying to get more fit. And I'm like, yeah, because I know what's coming. I need to prepare my body for your last 4, maybe 5 months of pregnancy. And I need to be like on a structured game plan. I need to be real careful during the day of how many calories I'm taking in and what they are. Because at night, you stag me. And that's when all that stuff that hits me. I'm like, dude, I got to make sure, man. I can't be going into this retracting thing. I'm getting older now. It's harder.
Yeah.
I don't have that kind of energy anymore, man. I'm not trying to wake up at 4 a.m. to go put in a 2-hour workout that mangles me, and then I got to work a 16-hour day.
Yeah. No. I know. Then you look back and you're like, how did I used to get up that early to work out? Like, I get up to take the dog out. I'm like, oh God, it's like 6:30. Like, do we have to get up?
Not even that. It's just like, that's part of it. But the other part too is like, how did I work out 3 times a day for like 2-hour increments and like go as hard as I went? Mm-hmm. I was a monster. I was on my Instagram. If you ever look at it, one of the top, I don't know, I just posted this a while ago. It was a picture of me and Tara when we went on our first vacation to Cabo. Mm-hmm. I am a beast. Just shredded I was 205, maybe 210. I was like 4% body fat. I was just
yeah.
I keep looking at that picture. I'm like, dude, I just want to be like 90% there. I don't need the whole 100. I just want 90% of that. That was great. I loved it. So hard now. Ugh.
I know. The older we get, the harder it is.
And it's just the time. I don't have that kind of time to dedicate to it anymore. So that's even the harder part. Like already your body doesn't respond the same way. You don't have the time. You don't have, it's just like,
yeah, life just keeps getting like busier and busier around you, and you're like, how did I squeeze all this in before? Did I have more energy? Did I have more time?
I wasn't married. Things were different.
Yeah.
I don't exist anymore.
Yeah.
Well, this was awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining today and giving us a little snippet into your world and, of course, what you do. And obviously, being able to make women feel beautiful is such a big thing, right? Because what it does emotionally for them too, and confidence wise. And I know that, like you said, we live in a world where, for women, it is so challenging. I have all sisters. Pretty much women run my world. And I know how challenging it can be to be a woman through their eyes. Obviously, I'm not a woman, so I can only be empathetic to the situation, but what you're doing is amazing. It does make such a big impact in women's lives, especially if they feel good about themselves, because that's one of the biggest things, right? If you feel confident in yourself and have that confidence, you will be able to do more. And so I'm glad that you're doing something to obviously help with that. And for all of our women listeners, please check her out and order some clothes.
Love it. Yeah. Thank you so much. And yeah, for the listeners, don't hesitate to reach out. I would love to connect with you guys and answer any questions you guys have, or just say hi. And thanks for having me on. This has been a wonderful opportunity, and thanks for giving me a few minutes to highlight, a new avenue, a new place to shop for women.
Well, for all the listeners, thank you so much for joining us today. You're with Stephen Basita on my podcast, Get It? And we look forward to seeing you next time. Have a wonderful and safe day.